Hello and welcome to this webinar on fear-free presentations and confident public speaking. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sure you have a million and one things to do, and I hope to share with you today why this is worth spending time on, why overcoming the fear of public speaking is a worthwhile thing to invest your time in so that you can then go on and achieve your goals. So let's just quickly move forward with what we're going to do on the webinar. I've already talked you through the control panel, so I'm looking forward to having some interaction with you and the hands up in the little yellow hands up box that I talked to you about earlier. And what I'm going to do then is give you an overview of the program and then just show you what the online system looks like, because some people wanted to have a look at it and it makes you feel more familiar, that you know what the system does and how it works. And then at the end there's some optional questions, and I say optional because I know that some of you have monkeys, because if you didn't have monkeys you wouldn't be on this call. So you don't have to speak if you don't want to. You can plug in your microphone and speak if you choose to, or you can just type in the questions box your questions, which would be fantastic. I look forward to hearing them later. So if you've got a question as we go through the program, just write it down, keep it till later, and then I will answer all questions, and I promise to answer all questions before I leave today. So what are public speaking monkeys? Most of you already know what public speaking monkeys are, so I'm working on the assumption that you mostly know what they are. But just as a little refresher, they're the voices in your head that say, "You're rubbish, you're going to make a fool of yourself, what if you make a mistake?" And these little voices in your head may sound harmless, but the reason they're very dangerous is because there can be so many of them. So you might be worried about forgetting what to say, you might be worried about getting asked unexpected questions, getting tongue-tied, or perhaps your nerves and fear showing through. And it doesn't matter what your public speaking monkey is at the moment. What matters is if you have them, you need to tame them, otherwise they will be impacting you. So how do they impact you? Well, what you're doing right now with the monkeys is making your fear and worry 100 times worse. Put your hands up if you recognise this downward spiral. So you start with, say, having a fear of public speaking. You worry about it constantly. And then one of two things happens, really. There should be two spirals here. You either avoid thinking about it, you leave it to the last minute, you don't prepare, or you over-prepare because you're so worried about it that you spend ages over-preparing. So hands up, who here are the over-preparers? Okay, good. We've got a few of them. And I'm just going to pop your hands down. Who are the under-preparers that basically avoid thinking about it until the very last minute? Okay, a few of you. Good. And so I'm guessing the rest of you are the avoiders, that you don't actually even present much at the moment already. Is that fair? Brilliant. Okay. So it's no surprise then that your talk goes badly, because either you're so exhausted because you spent far too much time preparing and worrying about it, or you didn't prepare at all, that they don't like the presentation, and then you get the reassurance that you're no good at speaking. See, I told you I wasn't. I hate it. Well, no wonder. That feeds your fear of public speaking. So hands up if you can recognise those behaviours. Good. And that's why the public speaking monkeys are so dangerous, not because of them on their own, but because of what they then make you do. The other thing that comes with it, whether you know it or not, is that your body language is then impacted significantly as well. So what can happen is that your body language then shows that spiral happening. So actually your nerves and your worry and your fear get worse. You get hot, you get sweaty, not very nice attributes to be doing when you're up there speaking. So what you want to do instead is the upward spiral instead of the downward spiral, where you start off with "I enjoy speaking." Now, I know that might be too much for some of you at the moment. It may be a little bit too far away. So even if that's "it's okay," speaking is okay, that's a much better start than where you were before. I know how to prepare. I think about it in plenty of time. I consider my audience, because my brain isn't full of mush and monkey mush. I can consider my audience. I practice the tips that I've learnt and I feel relaxed. I breathe easily and I speak slowly, and therefore I present well and adapt it to the audience. And so no surprise that you're good at speaking and you listen to the feedback that's given. You don't overreact to good or bad feedback. You just take on feedback, which is a great thing to mean that you enjoy speaking, and then you go round an upward spiral. So it's not saying that the first presentation you're going to do out of the starting blocks from having tamed your monkeys is necessarily going to be an most amazing presentation ever, but what it will be is it will be starting you on this journey that actually the presentation was pretty good, and then the next one you do is even better, and the next one you do is even better. So you continue on this positive spiral. The reason I show you this chart is because Taming Your Monkeys approach really works. Now, some people are starting this program thinking, will it work for me? And I want to demonstrate that it will work for you, because this approach has won 6 awards in 12 months and been runners-up for many, many more as well. And all of those are listed on the website. But basically, if the program didn't work, it wouldn't have won lots of awards. And there's lots of people that have gone through the program and know how good it is. So please feel free to look on my LinkedIn profile for testimonials, other testimonials of people who have tamed and trained their public speaking monkeys. But that means it can work for you too. There is no exceptions. It can work for everybody. Now, I'm so sure of that I offer a value for money back guarantee that as long as you've done the exercises, and that's what this home play program is all about, helping you to do those exercises. As long as you've done the exercises, then I guarantee that it will work for you, and if not, I'll give you your money back. The program is split into 6 modules. The elements are reading the book. There's 6 classes which are live webinar recordings, a little bit like this, although more interactive in some of the sessions. Depends which we're doing, whether it's been a teaching class or whether it's an interactive class with all of the participants sharing their monkeys. So depending on which webinar class it is, they're interactive webinar recordings. So you can hear other people going through exactly the same process as you at exactly the same point. You can hear maybe they're frustrated because they haven't got to where they wanted to yet. You can hear me helping them and showing them how to get to their monkeys. So it's really interactive and very helpful. In fact, hands up who finds it easier sometimes to help other people than themselves. Hands up if anyone's like that. Okay, good, a few of you. Exactly, and that's why the webinar recordings are so helpful, because if you can hear it working on someone else, you can see how it works with your challenges and monkeys as well. Also, elements of the course is completing the online exercises, and I'll show you where you sort of tap in your answers later on and specifically. And if you pick the standard and deluxe version, then there's 2 calls with me, and mostly those calls are at a common time. Most people have them at the same time, which is in the middle of monkey taming and then at the end to see where you want to go next. And there's lots and lots more to the home study system too, but those are the big picture, the key elements. How to tame your public speaking monkeys? Well, there's 3 golden rules, and we go through each of those in the first 1 to 4 modules. We cover how to catch your monkeys, how to connect with them, and how to challenge them. Catching them is all about identifying which are your personal monkeys, and if you don't do this bit right, the rest of it won't work. So you must get your monkeys, and you must narrow them down, and most people actually, despite starting off with 20 or 30 monkeys, narrow it down to say 1 or 2 what I call chunky monkeys. Secondly, you connect with your monkeys, and this is about finding out where the monkeys came from, and so that you can learn from that and release them. And then you challenge your monkeys, so you get rid of them altogether. Now, most people make the mistake of just doing the challenging monkeys, not doing part 1 and part 2, but as you know, that doesn't work, otherwise you wouldn't be on this call. So just saying, oh, I shouldn't have monkeys. So if your monkey says you're stupid, and then you go, well, I'm not stupid because I've got a degree, that doesn't work. You know that doesn't work, but it will work when you've done the first couple of stages of this approach. Then module 5 and 6 is all about presentation skills. So we cover body language and mindset and how to structure any presentation, whether it's last minute or whether you have got time to prepare it. And whilst that may not be overly exciting for you at the moment, because all you're worried about maybe at the moment is getting rid of your fear of speaking, trust me, by the time you get rid of your fear of speaking, you'll be going, right, now I don't know how to structure a presentation. Can you help? And so the last 2 modules are really focused on building up your skills and techniques. Because after all, if you've been avoiding public speaking or hating it for so long, you may be a little bit behind in your presentation skills, and this will not only get you up to date but make you way ahead of most other presenters out there. Just to let you know that even after 1 class, the participants found loads of benefits. 2 different participants here, one saying that it's really helped the time to reflect and to actually talk about the monkeys instead of keeping them bottled up, and the other person saying how easy it is to do the home play because it's in bite-sized chunks. So let's have a look at the total time commitment. I'm not going to say like 3 seconds and it's done. It isn't a magic cure, but it does work. Now, most of the time is up front in the introduction and really analysing your current position. And when I say 3 to 4.5 hours, what I've done is tried to, if you do the modules properly and very well, the quickest you can probably do it in is 3 hours, and really you shouldn't take any more than 4.5 hours in that module 1. Let's take module 6, between 2 and 3 hours. Now, people can skip over bits if you want to. There's no rules saying you shouldn't, but then it would only take you 5 minutes. Really, if you do it properly, those are the timings that I've put on there as, in my experience, how long it should take. So if you're a fast worker, you might want to take the left-hand column. If you're a bit of a more methodical worker, you might want to take the right-hand column, or somewhere in between. But really, the idea is that perhaps in the first module, you might want to find a chunk of time to get started so that you don't feel there's too much to do at once. So perhaps you book in a Saturday morning just to get going and get module 1 done, or mostly done and out of the way, because from there on in, each module is only around 2 hours or less per week or per fortnight. So you can choose to do this once a week, 1 module a week, or you might choose to do 1 module a fortnight. That's totally up to you, but I would suggest that you do structure it like that, because otherwise it's easy to fall behind, and then it goes to another week, and then it's another week, and then, oh, I just haven't had time this week. So I really would encourage you to decide if you're on the once a week or the once a fortnight program, and book it all into your diaries. So these are the time commitment by module, but what that means is that in 12.5 hours time you will have tamed your monkeys, or maximum 19 hours. So you could do it in 1 intensive weekend if you had to, or if you had a presentation in a couple of days time with a lot of hard work, you could have had it done by then. I suggest you break it out with 1 a week though. That would be more comfortable. Now, I may say 2-3 hours, whatever. Let's have a look at how that breaks down. At the beginning of each module, I've broken down every single thing you need to do by minutes. So here you can see in the very first module, I've told you it takes 3 minutes to read the instructions. It will take you 10 to 30 minutes to plan the times in your diary. So you get your diary, you do that. And then each of these other things take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. So what you can do is you can see what's in front of you and plan your week or fortnight, knowing what there is to come. Also, you can see that there's a watching time. So here there's webinar 1, part 1, which has got a watching time of 47 minutes. So you know you need to be at your desk, at your computer to watch that webinar, or if you're going to be on your tablet or something, you need to have already downloaded it, ideally, unless you've got very good internet connection somewhere else. So you can plan your week ahead and plan your diary. So I suggest at the very beginning you plan all of your diary for all of the program. Maybe just put in 2 hours every Thursday night, or a couple of hours twice a week, and just book in a block to get you started, and that way it will all work really well. One of the things we cover in the first module is all about you. I think, how long did I say that took, that exercise? I think that's 30 to 60 minutes here. Goals and aims, 30 to 60 minutes. And the reason that's important, you know, you could rush through it in a couple of minutes if you wanted to, but I don't want you to, because it's really important for your motivation that you know what you want to achieve, you know what you don't want anymore, you know what success looks like, what it sounds like and what it feels like, and that the change that you want to see is holistic, as in it's not just about being a brilliant presenter. It might be about setting a good example for someone else. It might be about being stronger in your team. It might be about going for another job interview. Who knows? But in the goals and aims, this is the place to put in all those other things as well, what it's for. Why do you want to be a better speaker and lose your fear? And it's really important for motivation, especially in a dip. So what's the dip, I hear you ask? Well, the dip is a book written by Seth Godin, and he talks about everything you ever do has a dip. So if you're learning skiing, or you're learning how to overcome your public speaking monkeys, or you do anything, learn a new language, there's always this bit where you put in the effort, but at the beginning you're really, really keen. Yeah, can't wait to start this new thing. But then after an amount of time, you dip and you aren't getting the results that you were getting before, or you don't think you are anyway. And what happens is then you feel a bit disheartened really, and you start getting, it's possible to get stuck in the dip. And what this book is about, it's really good actually if you want to buy it, but the book is all about not getting stuck in the dip. So either don't do it, don't even start the program. If speaking without fear isn't important to you, obviously don't start the program. But if it is, make sure you know that there will be a dip, and your goals and aims will help see you through the dip. Listening to other people on the webinar going through their dip helps you get through your dip, because you can hear other people doing it. Knowing that somebody is seeing the answers that you put into the home study system, maybe that will help you through the dip. Maybe you're going to ask somebody to keep asking you how it's going. Whatever you need to see you through the dip, know that you're going to have one. But as long as you know that, it's easy to get out of it. So don't just live with your monkeys. Don't let it hold you back from getting new clients or customers. This is what people have told me that their monkeys are doing. They're stopping them getting sales or more success, stopping them getting quality time with their kids. So, for example, one of the HR directors I work with was so worried about presenting, she was over preparing at the weekends and not seeing her children. So every time there was a presentation, the kids knew they wouldn't see mummy that weekend. It might be stopping you getting the recognition that you deserve, and it may be stopping you going for new job opportunities or succeeding in the ones that you go for. I love this page. Here's just a collection of what some people have been doing or want to do once they've tamed their monkeys, and the ones that have tamed their monkeys are already doing these, some of them. Client demos or presentations, increased number of sales pitches. So not just having a great sales pitch, but actually going out there and doing it. Last minute talks. So if the speaker doesn't turn up somewhere, you can say, yeah, I'll do that. I'll talk about that. 1 minute networking pitches, especially if you run your own business or if you attend industry events as well. I've called it a networking pitch in this program, but actually it's really good for industry events as well. Maybe you want to improve your performance when you just meet people socially. Maybe you're a bit scared of speaking up, and this will help you with that. Maybe you're looking for new job opportunities or interviews. Maybe you want to be a conference speaker, or you want to run your own webinar series, a little bit like this. Plenty of people have talked to me about wedding speeches and wanted to tame their monkeys for that special day, either their wedding or best man or father of the bride. And TED Talks. If you don't know what TED Talks are, go and look them up. They're fantastic. And radio and TV interviews, which obviously would help grow your business or promote your charity. So if you want to get going today or tomorrow, just take a look at the website. There's a link here, but you can go on to my website, dclayton.com, go on to public speaking training, which is this tab, and then under that tab there will be home learning programs, which is the bottom left over here somewhere, and then you'll get this page, or follow this tiny URL and that will help you to get to this page as well. So www.dclayton.com, go to the training tab and then click on the bottom left tab, which is home study or home learning program, or just type in this tiny URL here. And then it will take you through each of the 3 programs ranging from $295 to $995, and just go ahead and buy today so that you can start it tomorrow, because if you want to do it, you may as well just get going and stop procrastinating. If you don't want to do it, that's also fine, but just make a decision, because too many people go, after they've done their taming the monkeys, do you know what they say? I wish I did this years ago. And don't let that be you. Don't let these monkeys impact you any longer than they need to. So get going. And for those of you on this live call, you can book in a call with me tomorrow. So how does the online system work? Let me just share 5 pages with you to show you how the online system works. All of the different mini modules are here underneath each module, and what you then do is work on one at a time. So one might take 1 minute, it might take 5 minutes, it might take 20 minutes as outlined previously. Then when you complete the section, you put your answer in here. You might want to answer with a sentence or a paragraph, or there might be quite in-depth answers. And make sure you click save every time you say something, because otherwise it could go into the ether, and that's quite frustrating. So click save and then submit to coach. So if you've put your answers in here, then you click Save, and then you mark the module as complete and submit to Coach. By marking the module as complete, that means you can go on to the next module or the next mini module, and by submitting to the coach, that means that I can see what answers you've done. And that's important because when we have our one-to-one calls on the standard or deluxe package, what that means is that I start from exactly the point you are. I don't have to do half an hour of getting to know where you're at because I've read all of your answers and I know what journey you've been through so far. So you can submit to coach or you can work on the module, and then as you can see it goes green. So you can see how much of the modules you've completed and what you've got to do yet. If there's a webinar, so each module has at least one webinar in it, and if there's a webinar video to watch, then you get a link like this, and it's very similar to the, it is using the GoToWebinar, so you get a link like this, and then you register for your recording. Nothing happens with your email address here other than it gets registered, and you view the recording. And that's where then you can download it to a device if you want to, or you can watch it live from your PC there. But I would recommend initially going from your webinars where you've got really good internet connection, and then you can download it if you want to do it onto a tablet or something. On some exercises here, for Fear-Free Confident Speaking Agreement, for example, there's a document that you download, you sign, and then you scan back in and send it. So if you were going to attach it, you'd save it on your computer, then you'd browse, find it, and attach new document, mark as complete, and submit to coach. There's not many of these, but sometimes there's a template that you might want to use in Word that makes it easier, or sometimes you might want to upload a document to me. So thank you very much for listening to me today. That hopefully showed you a brief overview of the home study system so that you can see how it works and in fact that it does work. Let me just finish with a quote from Jane, who did the program in January. She said, "It's a little bit like having a personal trainer, but instead of it being for the body, it's around speaking. Even after a few classes, I noticed my fears were less, and by the end, my confidence was a turnaround from a 3 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. Since then, people have commented on how inspirational and articulate I am as a speaker and how I express myself so clearly. And I even believe it now too. I've also finished training my first set of 4 workshops with great feedback and referrals too. Now I can't even get in touch with those fears I used to have. Thanks, Dee." And I love this because apart from I love the quote about being a personal trainer but around speaking, the other thing is you can see that she's actually measured, and this is one of the exercises in the modules, to measure where you are so that you can see your progress. So when Jane started, she was a 3 out of 10 and she finished at a 10 out of 10. And it's important to see that progress going on throughout. And also to see the results now she's finished of what she wants to achieve and what she has achieved already is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for your time today. I'm going to finish with any questions. If anyone's got any questions, I'd love to hear them. Just type them in the box, or if you're feeling very brave, get on the microphone and I can speak to you. Please type any questions in the box. Okay, great. So one of the questions was, where's the details for the course? So here's that tiny URL again, and you can find all of the details of the specific package there. If you are on this call live, then book a call with me. But if you're not on this call live and you're just watching the recording, then you can book in a call with me by texting me or emailing me at dee@deeclayton.com, DEE@deeclayton.com, and just say, I've listened to the webinar and I want to get going. Book online on the program and let's book in our Get Going call. So let's get on with it. Yay! Some other quotes here on this page about how far they've progressed. In fact, those quotes were from webinar 3 because I just wanted to show that, you know, as you go through the package, you feel better and better as you go through and through. So even better by the end. So get going. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll finish. Brilliant. Any other questions? I've got a question here which is, when will we get a chance to see you live? I've only met you online. Well, thank you for meeting me online. That's lovely. I do have a newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. And at the bottom of that newsletter is a little section called Where's Dee? And that highlights where I'm speaking in the next couple of weeks. And also I'm maybe going to do some open courses in September, October time. And they're going to be a cost comparison to the home study. So it's not going to be a cheaper or more expensive version, but it's just for people who prefer to learn in a different way. So there's the webinar course that you can do right now and you can be done in 12, 13 days, or somewhere around September, October, I may do some open live courses. Well, in fact, I think I will. But if you're interested in that, please email me directly, because then I'm more likely to get around to it sooner. So that would be good. And I look forward to seeing you face to face there. That would be great. Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone else got any other questions, or have I answered those questions appropriately? Brilliant. How is the webinar different to the book? Okay, so obviously the book is effective. If you do everything it says and you read it from cover to cover and you do all of the exercises, you will tame your monkeys. However, there's a couple of things that some people like learning a little bit more interactively, so they want to see, or not see, but hear other people going through the same situation as them, and that's the beauty of kind of live workshops. So what I've done is hopefully got the best of live workshops, which is working with other people and seeing other people's examples, but without the travel and without the you have to make a whole day free. This webinar means that you can split it into specific time slots that are more likely to fit into your diary, especially if you've got a busy diary. So it's different because it's split into easy chunks and it's very clear, but there's also additional content in the webinar. There's the 6 live classes and there's some other classes as well, and also there's a Confidence Charm free bonus recording, and it's really good because you can download that and listen to it before you go and do your presentation live. And there's all sorts of things in there that are different, but I think the main thing is that it's so step by step. It's me holding your hand, working with you through the whole thing, telling you exactly what to do, and it's structured into a 6-week program so that you can really fit it into your diary. So it's more of a holding your hand step by step going through it, and it makes it hopefully more easy. And some of the learnings might be expressed in a different way from in the book because I'm speaking about them, and obviously when delegates are asking questions I'm answering things that may not have even been covered in the book. So there's loads more content and hopefully more interactive and more engaging. But both processes work. It's just a different way of doing it and deeper learning, really. I hope that answers your question. So has anyone else got any other questions? Okay, doesn't look like anyone else has any questions. Thank you very much for being with me this evening. I've really enjoyed it, and thank you for putting your little hands up. And please, anyone, hang on the line and ask me any more questions you might want to ask after everyone else is gone. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and let's get monkey taming. Go for it, guys. Cheers.